Hello everyone, and welcome to the Animation Therapist channel. Today we will be talking about possible causes of fear of failure. We will explore how it is a normal emotions and possible causes. The fear of failure is simply the emotional response, anxiety or stress that a person feels about failing, or the anxiety an individual experiences about making mistakes. The fear of failure is also a type of excessive and uncontrollable worries that is often rooted in negative beliefs and assumptions. These beliefs and assumptions may include things like, "I'm not good enough," "I don't think I have what it takes to pull this through," or, "If I fail, others will think less of me." These beliefs and assumptions usually creates a cycle of fear and avoidance. The aftermath of this is that it becomes difficult for the individual to take risks or try new things. This fear is usually triggered by a number of things. Let's explore a few of them, after which I'll talk on how to overcome it. One of the possible causes of the fear of failure is the fear of disapproval or judgment from others. Many people have a strong desire to please others and avoid criticism, at the expense of their own well-being. This can lead to perfectionist tendencies and an unhealthy focus on avoiding failure. When you see yourself having fears about disapproval or judgment, then you are more likely to avoid taking risks or trying new things. If this trend continues for a long time, it leads to a lack of self-confidence and low self-esteem. When it comes to the fear of disapproval or judgment from others, one thing that shows up is the concept that is called people-pleasing behavior. People-pleasing is when a person goes out of their way to make others happy, even at the expense of their own needs and desires. This behavior can stem from a fear of rejection or a need for approval. Such individuals try to avoid taking risk or try new things in order not to lose the approval they already have, or the rejection that may come as a result of failing in an endeavor. In the long run, this can lead to burnout and a lack of self-worth. Another factor that causes the fear of failure is perfectionist tendencies. When a person has perfectionist tendencies, they may have very high standards for themselves and others. This can lead to a fear of not meeting these standards and being seen as a failure. Perfectionists may also have a fear of not living up to others' expectations, and they may be afraid of disappointing others. This can lead to the fear of failure, which can then lead to procrastination, anxiety, and other negative consequences. Individuals with perfectionist tendencies, especially those that exhibit the maladaptive form, find it very difficult to accept mistakes or imperfection. They see mistakes and imperfections as a reflection of who they are. They see themselves as failure each time they make mistakes, and this comes with a lot of distressing emotions for them. This kind of thought pattern usually leads to a lot of pressure, anxiety and stress, which can make it even harder to overcome the fear of failure. The third reason why people may experience the fear of failure is low self-esteem and a negative self-image. When a person has low self-esteem, they may not believe in their abilities or feel like they are not good enough. This can lead to a fear of failure and a belief that they will never be able to succeed anytime they are assigned a major task, or have an important exam to write, or they are faced with taking a major step in their career or life. A negative self-image can also lead to a fear of failure, as a person may feel like they are not worthy of success. This can lead to a cycle of negative thoughts and feelings, which can make it even harder to overcome the fear of failure. When a person has a negative self-image, they often have low self-esteem and don't believe in their own abilities. This produces a fear of failure, as they feel like they're not good enough and don't want to disappoint others. They may also have a fear of being judged or criticized by others. They fail to realize that people will most times criticize our actions, either we do it right or wrongly. This fear can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, as people with a negative self-image often don't try new things or put themselves out there because they're afraid of failing. Reason number 4. Past experiences of failure. This can have a big impact on a person's fear of failure. If a person has had a bad experience with failure in the past, they may be afraid of repeating that experience. I remember having a patient who has this fear of failure. He happens to be a For every time he is asked to give a presentation in class, his fear of failure is always triggered by the thought of a failed presentation he had few years ago. Past experiences of failure can lead to avoidance of taking risks and a fear of trying new things. Past experiences of failure can also lead to low self-esteem and negative self-talk. For people who are negatively impacted by the past failure experiences, they usually battle with the inner critic. The inner critic is the voice in our head that is constantly judging and criticizing us. This voice can be very harsh and negative, and it can contribute to the fear of failure. The inner critic can make us feel like we're not good enough, and it can lead to self-doubt and anxiety. Reason number 5. History of consistent negative feedback. Negative feedback from significant others can also have a big impact on our fear of failure. If we've had consistent negative feedback from teachers, parents, boss, siblings or other important people in our lives, it can make us afraid to take risks or try new things. This feedback can reinforce negative self-talk and low self-esteem. Even if the feedback was given with good intentions, it can still have a lasting impact. People who have received a lot of negative feedback in the past may have developed a fear of failure. This is because they've learned to associate failure with negative emotions, such as shame, disappointment, and humiliation. They may feel like they're not capable of succeeding or that they'll be ridiculed if they try and fail. This fear can cause them to avoid taking risks or trying new things, even if they're capable of succeeding. That will be all on this episode. Kindly subscribe to the Animation Therapist channel to get more educative and informative videos on mental health.